Hey everyone. One of you recently asked me why we lose friends, and the person who suggested this topic actually worded it in such a way that they were basically blaming themselves for why some of their friends have jumped out of their life. So I wanted to address this because it's not always going to be on you as to why your friends are leaving your life. Now, you can easily outgrow them, and in that case, it's literally your choice to cut them out of your life. I've done this a few times in my own life, and if you're constantly growing and evolving, this will probably happen to you pretty often throughout your life. But it can also go the other way where they outgrow you. Maybe you're just in a period of life where you're dealing with a lot of things, so you're not constantly working on improving yourself and accomplishing your goals, and they are. So maybe that causes them to break ways with you. But you have to realize that that's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't say anything much about you, especially if you are going through a tough period. You shouldn't use that as an excuse to beat yourself up even more because it's not your fault that they're going down a different life path than you. That's not on you, so you shouldn't blame yourself for that. And if you truly do want to keep that person in your life, there are things you can do to try to keep them around you. Like not taking them for granted is a good one. Always show people how much you appreciate having them in your life and even tell them that. So that's just a huge thing. Never take the good people in your life for granted. But beyond outgrowing people, you can also run into situations where this is more for people who are younger, but if you're still in school, even university, you can run into an issue where your friends are a bit more shallow, a bit on the fake side, and they want to be perceived a certain way. So if you don't fall into that category of what they're trying to be perceived as, then they could break ways with you just because they hanging around you is not going to make them look the way they want to look to other people. For instance, when I was in high school, I had a few fake friends who wanted to be more popular. I was not a popular guy. I knew a lot of people, but I wasn't in the popular crowd. I was kind of a bit nerdy and I just knew a lot of people, especially because I've always had a good memory, so I remembered people's names and faces really well. So I knew a lot of people. But that didn't make me popular. Nobody thought of me as popular. So I had a few fake friends who wanted to be popular, so they started hanging out with me less because, I was not popular. So if they were seen near me, it was going to lower their status in the eyes of popular people. So if that's happening to you, let me tell you one thing right here, right now, because this situation, that's messed up when people do that. If you have friends who want to drop you out of their life because they want to be perceived as higher status and they feel like you lower their status, those people are not your friends. They're fake. You don't need them in your life. They're only going to bring you down. They're not ride or dies. If you basically want to have an inner circle of people who are ride or dies, people who will basically metaphorically go to battle for you. You don't want to have these fake people around you. Even if you have like 20 friends, but 19 of them are fake. What's the freaking point? You can't rely on those 19 to be there for you when you need them. So they may as well not even be your friends. I would think of them only as acquaintances. You do not want to surround yourself with people like that. And this can actually even happen into adulthood. I know I mentioned this is kind of more common for younger people, but this can still happen as an adult, especially when it comes to your coworkers trying to bridge the gap between coworker and becoming a friend. If they want to be seen as higher status in the company for promotions and whatnot, and you aren't seen as high status, they're not going to want to be around you. So it can happen there as well. But like I said, these people are not worth your time. So if you catch on to somebody doing this behavior to you, let them go. In fact, kick them out the door and then slam the door after them. Do not let them back in. I'm speaking from my own experience because I knew a friend like this growing up, all the way even until rather recently when we permanently parted ways because that's a video, or the story is more for another video entirely, or maybe one of my live sessions. But basically, that friend throughout the whole time I've known him, he was basically always a fair weather friend. He was always going to be around when things were good, when he was perceived as good being around me. And then as soon as he wanted to obtain higher status and that sort of things, he would kick me to the curb right away. So that was not fun. Going through that was annoying as It was very annoying. I want to use stronger language, but at the same time I don't. But basically, what I'm getting at is you do not want to have these people in your life. So as soon as you sniff them out, kick them the hell out of your life and do not let them back in. They're probably not going to change their colors at all. Once they're that way, they're very likely going to stay that way for quite a period of time. I mean, the friend that I knew who was like this, even after we were 25, he did not change. Usually they say that your brain is fully developed at the age of 25, so you would think people would be more mature then. No, it doesn't happen to everyone. So these people often do not change their stripes, so just let them go. So those are usually the main reasons why we will lose friends. I think the most common one pretty much is just people outgrowing you, and that's basically what's going to happen for most people throughout life. But it can even be such things as your hobbies just don't line up, so you stop seeing each other as much, or maybe if they're a friend from a job, if you quit that job or they quit that job, you're not going to see them as much. There's just so many things that can create this distance. But if you're a good person, I would wager it usually isn't going to be on you. I mean, some people just aren't going to be capable of seeing your worth. Like, yet again, this is me speaking from experience. For the vast majority of my life, I was raised by my parents to be loyal, to be a good person. So I've been that way for pretty much my whole life. This is why I was keeping around shitty friends, because I was just loyal. I didn't think that I thought it was the right thing to do to stay friends, especially with people who I've known for a long period of time. But that can end up hurting you. It's not always good to be that way. But what I can say is if people aren't capable of seeing your worth, if they don't value your loyalty and the fact that you're a good person who can help them grow, then it's their loss when they walk out of your life. Don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up. They're the one who's losing out. You're actually gaining when they leave, because now you've lost a shitty friend, somebody who isn't worthy of your time and effort. So don't mourn their loss. In fact, be glad that you're losing people who aren't down for you. Like I said earlier, you should try to form your inner circle with people who are ride or dies, people who will actually be there for you during your tough times. If you have people around you who aren't going to do this, then let them go. You do not need them in your life. But don't blame yourself for it. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could kind of instill my way of thinking in you, because I look at that behavior and it's unfortunate. I wish I could help you see this from my perspective, so then you would adapt it as well, or adopt it as well, should I say, because you should develop yourself to a point where you no longer view losing these friends as a loss, because it really isn't. It's a gain. Now you have more time and energy that you can spend on yourself, on improving your life, and on accomplishing your goals, and on finding people who actually will stick around through thick and thin with you. Because the rest of your friends don't even matter. The rest of them can come or go, and they probably will. You just want to focus on finding those people who actually choose you consistently, time and time again. They're the only ones who truly matter. And as you get older, you'll realize this as well. But anyway, I truly hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.